So there really are a lot of reasons to not love Christmas. Is that okay to admit? I know most of us get so excited this time of year, but others aren't always so sure. Some of us get anxious about all the chaotic shopping in the public spaces, or maybe some feel like being around certain parts of our family is a little more stressful and draining and less fulfilling than we thought it would be. Some may have even lost loved ones who are near and dear to us, and seeing the fun and love that other people are having on social media just really breaks us down. Really, there are a lot of emotions associated with the Christmas season. For me, this time of year sometimes feels fleeting and futile. After all, there's an incredible pain in the world, tons of personal turbulence and turmoil, there's continuous wars and violence and political tension. It's hard to contrast some of those things with the overwhelming materialism that seems to accompany the holiday spirit, as people rush out to buy the latest and greatest whatever. But Advent actually has quite a lot to say to people like me, people who have a harder time with the chaos around the celebration of Christ's birth. Looking to scripture, there's an interesting passage in Matthew 2. If we start at verse 16, it says, "Then Herod, when he saw that he had been tricked by the wise men, became furious, and he sent and killed all the male children in Bethlehem in that region who were 2 years old or under, according to the time he had ascertained from the wise men. Then was fulfilled what was spoken by the prophet Jeremiah, which said, 'A voice was heard in Ramah, weeping in loud lamentation, Rachel weeping for her children. She refused to be comforted because they are no more.'" Wow. It surely seems like this is a horrible situation. A king seeking not only to kill Jesus, but in order to do so, killing every infant that he could find in the entire city of Bethlehem. Incredibly, Advent teaches us something about suffering around the birth of Jesus. You see, pretty much everything about Jesus' birth is soaked in chaos. There's suffering and pain. Leading up to the birth of Jesus, there's political unrest, religious oppression, and even just after Jesus, we just read a story about a countrywide mission of infanticide. Why would God choose to place such an important moment of grace in the midst of such widespread suffering? Actually, though, God has a history of this, going all the way back to even creation. God has always had a habit of showing that if anyone could control chaos and create peace in the midst of suffering, it was God. It's no surprise that just as the Israelites are beginning to question whether or not God could even help them anymore, God sends the ultimate gift, which is Jesus. Jesus, the guy who is proclaimed to be labeled as none other than the Prince of Peace, Emmanuel, which means God is with us. So this Advent season, I'm going to do what I always do. When I start to feel that anxiety pit in my stomach, I'm going to remember the function of Christ in all of this. God didn't just send someone to fix a problem. God made a specific choice to create space for peace, for love, and for grace in the midst of some of the worst chaos and pain this world has ever seen. And I believe Advent is a reminder of that choice, and a celebration of a love that is so powerful that no hate or suffering or chaotic evil could ever defeat it. Take a piece of that love with you, and I hope it helps you through. Merry Christmas.